Imagine this.
Yeah.
You run a small business, right? Juggling everything. And then, boom, you find this. Superpower. Something that frees up your time, boosts sales, makes customers happier.
Sounds almost too good to be true, doesn't it?
It does. But that superpower, it's here as generative AI. We're talking like the real potential to cut customer service costs by maybe 30%.
Or even see a solid 10% jump in sales. And the key is these tools. They're actually usable now.
Exactly. Ready to unlock that.
Absolutely. And well, that's exactly what this deep dive is all about today. If you're in a small or medium-sized business, an SMB, an SME, and you're trying to figure out how this generative AI thing actually fits in, how it impacts your day-to-day.
Your bottom line.
Precisely. Then yeah, you're definitely in the right place.
And look, let's forget the heavy tech jargon for a minute. Our mission today, it's pretty straightforward. We want to explore the real, practical ways SMBs are already using GenAI.
Yeah, not just theory, actual use cases.
Right. And we'll help you figure out the best path for your business. Is it building something custom or using what's already out there?
The classic build versus buy question.
We'll get into that. Plus, share some genuinely compelling success stories, businesses just like yours, and most importantly, give you some clear, actionable steps, things you can do now.
Without needing a huge budget, right, or a PhD in computer science.
Exactly. No Silicon Valley connections required.
Okay, so before we jump into those real-world examples, maybe we should just quickly level set, make sure we're all talking about the same thing. What exactly is generative AI?
Okay, yeah, good point. Let's break it down. Think about, traditional AI. It's really smart at analyzing stuff that already exists, finding patterns, making predictions based on past data.
Looking backwards, in a way?
Sort of, yeah. Generative AI, it's different. It goes a step further. It doesn't just analyze. It actually creates new things. Original content.
Like what kind of content?
Well, text, for starters. Like writing emails or blog posts, images, even computer code. Music, too, sometimes. It learns from, tons and tons of existing data.
Everything it's been trained on.
Exactly. And then it uses that learning to generate something totally new. It's like it sees all this inspiration, then makes its own unique thing based on it.
That's a really good way to put it, Clear. So, okay, why is this such a big deal specifically for SMBs, right now, in 2025? What's the shift?
This is where it gets really interesting, I think. These AI tools, the powerful ones, they've really matured. Platforms you've probably heard of, ChatGPT, Google Gemini.
And the big cloud providers too, right? Azure, AWS.
Absolutely. They're AI services. They become incredibly sophisticated, yes, but maybe more importantly for our listeners, they become so much more user-friendly.
Accessible.
That's the word. They're not just locked away in R&D labs anymore. Small, medium businesses, they can actually access and use this stuff now. And the potential payoff? It's massive.
You mentioned a figure earlier.
Yeah, projections are talking about something like $4.4 trillion with a T in annual productivity gains globally from AI. That's a potential game changer for everyone.
And it's not just pie in the sky, right? We're seeing businesses actually using it now.
We absolutely are. The numbers back it up. Something like 80% of businesses have already adopted AI in some form. But here's the kicker for today's topic. 60%, full 60%, are already using generative AI in at least one part of their business.
Wow. Okay, so it's moved beyond just talk. It's actual implementation happening.
Definitely. People are putting it to work.
Okay, so we've got a handle on what it is, why it's relevant now. Let's get to the really exciting part. How are SMBs actually using GenAI out there in the wild? Maybe we could start with retail. Seems like a good place.
Yeah, retail's fascinating. We're seeing some really smart applications. Take Nike. They're a small online retailer.
Okay.
They're using GenAI for things like managing stock levels better, but also analyzing customer feedback automatically instead of someone manually reading through hundreds of reviews.
The AI finds the patterns.
Exactly. Finds recurring themes, pinpoints what needs improving, and the result for them. Well, operations got more efficient, sure, but customer satisfaction went up. And crucially, they saw more repeat purchases.
That's fantastic. So it's not just saving time, it's actually driving customer loyalty.
Right. It helps them understand their customers at scale. Then there's another one, CMY Cubes, an SME. They went a slightly different route.
How so?
They actually developed a custom GPT model. So basically, they took one of these powerful pre-trained AI text models.
Like the engine behind ChatGPT, maybe fine-tuned?
Probably something like that, yeah. Fine-tuned it with their own marketing stuff, their brand voice.
Yeah.
And now they're using it to quickly generate SEO-friendly blog posts. optimizing their marketing strategy.
Okay, so content creation and SEO, that must save their team a ton of time.
Huge time saver for the sales team, apparently. Lets them focus on, actually selling. And they're seeing better marketing ROI because they're attracting more organic traffic.
And it's not just these, like, super agile small companies, is it? Bigger players are in on this, too.
Oh, yeah. Even giants like Walmart are using GenAI for things like personalizing marketing content for millions of customers, and also helping their own merchants streamline tasks on their platform.
So across the board in retail, we're seeing things like higher online conversion rates, bigger average order values.
Yeah, and GenAI is definitely a contributing factor there.
Okay, interesting. Let's shift gears. What about the financial sector? How are smaller and medium finance firms using this?
Finance is a bit different, obviously more sensitive with data. But a really key application for SMEs there is automating customer service. Think AI-powered chatbots.
Handling common queries, that sort of thing?
Exactly. While, specific case studies from smaller finance firms might be harder to come by publicly.
Regulations and privacy concerns.
Right. But you can see the potential when you look at bigger players. Mm-hmm. Like Ant Group introduced GenAI-powered digital wealth management tools. Big impact on customer engagement.
So for smaller firms, the benefit translates to
lower customer service costs, definitely. The AI handles the routine stuff. And hopefully, better customer retention, because support is faster, more efficient, available 24/7, perhaps.
Makes sense. Okay, how about manufacturing? Maybe not the first industry people think of with AI.
You'd be surprised. Manufacturing SMEs are finding real value. Predictive maintenance is a big one.
Predicting when machines might break down.
Pretty much. Using AI to analyze sensor data, usage patterns, stuff like that. Forecast potential failures before they happen so they can schedule maintenance proactively.
Avoiding costly downtime. That's huge in manufacturing.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And you mentioned that high-profile Wave and Uber collaboration using GenAI for self-driving delivery vehicles that shows the sort of cutting edge. But for smaller manufacturers,
where do they start?
Even just using AI for better inventory management, knowing exactly what to order, when, how much, or just efficiently scheduling routine maintenance, that alone can lead to significant cost savings. Fewer surprise breakdowns, stopping the whole production line.
Tangible results then. Less maintenance costs, less unplanned downtime.
Definitely. And finally, let's touch on marketing. This feels like, really fertile ground for GenAI, especially for SMBs.
Oh, absolutely. Across pretty much every industry, SMBs are using GenAI to, supercharge their marketing.
Supercharge, I like that. How?
Think about just the time savings. Generating marketing copy for a website, drafting social media posts, writing product descriptions. It's just faster.
Frees people up. Better ROI, potentially?
For sure. But maybe the real game changer here, it's the personalization aspect.
Tailoring the message.
Exactly. Even if you're a small shop, you can now create marketing content that speaks directly to different customer segments, much more effectively than generic blasts. That leads to better engagement, stronger relationships.
Okay, so we've seen some really compelling examples across different sectors. Now let's tackle that big question for listeners. Should they be thinking about building their own GenAI solutions? Or is buying something off the shelf the way to go?
Yeah, the build versus buy dilemma. It's a crucial one. Let's break it down a bit.
Okay. So building your own.
Well, the upside is maximum control, right? You could potentially create something totally unique, a real competitive edge. But
there's always a but.
There is. It means hiring specialized AI talent. Data scientists, AI engineers. These are not easy or cheap skills to find. And the upfront cost, the time investment, it can be really substantial, often just too much for many SMBs.
Right. So the alternative, buying.
Buying or subscribing to existing AI services, especially through those big cloud platforms we mentioned, Azure OpenAI, Google Cloud, Vertex AI, others. The advantages there are pretty clear.
Like what?
Much faster implementation, for one. You can get started relatively quickly. Initial costs are usually way lower. And you get access to these incredibly powerful, cutting-edge AI models that have already been trained on vast amounts of data.
Okay, so faster, cheaper initially, access to powerful tech. What's the downside?
Well, potentially less customization. Right, you're working within the provider's framework. Might not fit every single unique need perfectly. And of course, there are ongoing subscription fees.
But isn't there a middle ground, a sort of hybrid approach?
Exactly. And that's often the smartest strategy for SMBs. Start by, buying or subscribing to tools that meet your immediate needs. Get your feet wet.
Address the low-hanging fruit first.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Then, as you get more comfortable, as your team learns, as the business needs evolve, you can strategically start building more custom pieces where it really makes sense. Maybe integrate different services.
So you minimize the initial risk and cost, but keep the door open for more tailored solutions later.
That's the idea. Flexibility down the road.
And the general consensus, the research, it seems to lean towards buying or hybrid for most SMBs.
Overwhelmingly, yes. Given the typical resource constraints budget, specialized staff buying AI services or going hybrid is just more practical and cost-effective.
Because the cloud provider handles all the back-end stuff, the infrastructure, the model maintenance.
Right. That significantly lowers the total cost of ownership, especially upfront. Takes a huge burden off the SMB.
Okay, so for that listener thinking, right, this sounds good, I'm leaning towards buy or hybrid, but where do I actually start? What are some practical first steps?
Yeah, let's make it concrete. Step 1, don't try to boil the ocean. Pick one specific area in your business.
Just one.
Just one to start. Where do you think GenAI could make a real noticeable difference relatively quickly? Is it answering customer questions faster, creating marketing content, maybe optimizing inventory? Focus.
Find that high-impact starting point. Okay, makes sense. Then what?
Then explore the tools. Specifically, look for user-friendly, low-code, or even no-code platforms.
Low-code and no-code, meaning you don't need to be a programmer to use them.
Exactly. Many cloud providers and specialized AI companies offer these now. They let you integrate AI features without writing lines and lines of code. The goal is to find tools your existing team can actually learn and use effectively.
Okay, find the right tool for the job, one that's accessible. What about the team itself? How do you get them ready?
Upskilling is key, but make it targeted. Encourage learning. There are tons of great online resources, Coursera, Udemy, even free tutorials from the platform providers.
So find courses relevant to how AI applies to their specific job.
Yes. Role-based training. If you're starting with customer service AI, train the customer service team on how to use the chatbot interface, how to handle escalations from the bot, etc. Build that internal know-how.
Got it. And lastly, how do you know if any of this is actually, working, paying off?
Measurement. You
Yeah.
absolutely have to define clear key performance indicators, KPIs, right from the beginning.
Like what specifically?
What results are you actually aiming for? Is it cutting customer service response time?
Yeah.
Reducing the hours spent writing blog posts, improving customer satisfaction scores, increasing sales conversion rates? Pick the relevant metrics.
Like track them.
Track them consistently. That's how you prove the ROI. It's how you justify further investment and make smart decisions about where to go next with AI. Data, not just gut feeling.
Okay, that's a solid roadmap. But, implementing new tech, it's not always smooth sailing, is it?
Yeah.
What are some common pitfalls SMBs should watch out for with GenAI?
That's a really important point.
It's
It's easy to get caught up in the hype, right?
For sure. AI is everywhere.
Yeah. So, mistake number 1. Trying to do too much, too soon. Wanting every AI gadget imaginable all at once, a much better approach. Focus on practical wins.
Back to that start small idea.
Exactly. Start small, test it, learn from the results, and then iterate. Build momentum based on actual successes, not just excitement.
Okay, avoid the hype trap. What else?
Data privacy and security. This is huge. You absolutely must think about this from day one.
How so?
Choose reputable AI platforms. Understand their security measures. Critically, understand how your business data and your customer data will be used and protected. Don't just click agree without reading the terms.
Good advice. Data governance is crucial. Anything else on the pitfall list?
Yeah, managing the human side. Change resistance. People might worry about their jobs or just find the new tech intimidating.
How do you handle that?
Communication is absolutely key. Be open, be transparent about why you're bringing in AI and what the benefits are for the business and for them.
Frame it as a tool to help them.
Precisely. Emphasize how it can augment their skills, take away tedious tasks, free them up for more interesting work, not replace them, and critically provide good training and ongoing support. Make them feel comfortable and confident.
Involve them in the process, maybe.
Definitely get their input, make them part of the solution.
Okay, great points. So let's try to bring this all together. If you had to distill the essential takeaways for our listeners today, what would they be?
Okay, the big picture. Generative AI. It's not just hype. It offers real, significant opportunities for SMBs to boost efficiency, make customers happier, drive actual growth.
But the key is how you approach it.
Exactly. The winning formula seems to be strategic. Start with practical, high-impact uses. Don't try to build everything yourself. Initially, leverage those readily available cloud tools and invest in your people, upskill your team.
Practical steps, smart choices. Makes sense.
That seems to be the path to success we're seeing.
And speaking of practical tools, for our little bonus segment today, we wanted to highlight one that feels really accessible for SMBs starting out.
Yeah, something concrete people can maybe look into.
Right. It's a tool called Jasper, Jasper. You might have heard of it. It's primarily focused on helping create marketing content, blog posts, social media, ad copy, that kind of thing.
And it's known for being pretty user-friendly, right?
Yeah.
Relatively easy to get started with.
Exactly. It's a great example of how you can begin experimenting with GenAI for content creation without needing, a dedicated AI team right away, something to explore.
Definitely a good one to check out if content is a bottleneck for you. And looking ahead, in our next deep dive, we're actually planning to drill down even further into specific AI tools, focusing specifically on the retail sector.
Oh, interesting. So more tool recommendations.
Yeah, and practical advice on how retailers can actually test these tools out in their own business, kind of risk-free or with minimal risk. So definitely tune in for that if retail is your world.
Sounds great. Well, that feels like a good place to wrap for today. If you found this deep dive useful, maybe share it with another small business owner or someone in your team who's curious about using AI to save time, cut costs, and grow the business.
Spread the knowledge.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive.